Hey, Lamont, how are you? Hey, Renee. Maybe by next week I'll have all the bugs worked out. Yes. Hey, Bob, how are you? Sorry about that, guys. Nothing says newbie like watching me try to maneuver YouTube. How's everybody doing tonight? Last official day of winter. Hey, CC, welcome in. How's everybody's day been? Just chilling, doing well. Hey, Dina, welcome in. So, yeah, today is the last official day of winter. Tomorrow's the first day of spring, and we just wrapped up having a blizzard here in the Midwest. It was warm. It was like right around 30, 31 degrees, but we had upwards of about 8 inches of snow, and we had 50 to 70-mile-an-hour winds. So pretty pleasant. Yeah. So, Bobby, you mentioned tornadoes. So today's Wednesday. On Monday, we had a high of 83. Yesterday, it was in the 70s. And then at 4 a.m. this morning, we had thunderstorms with hail for 2 hours. At 6 o'clock, we then got cold enough where it was sleet for an hour, and then it switched over to snow, and it snowed for about 10 hours. So pretty crazy. Tomorrow will be in the 40s, and then we'll be back in the 60s by the weekend. So that's the beauty of snow here in March. It doesn't stick around very long. So I don't mind that so much. Okay, I have to ask you guys, when I look at my screen, all I see is a glare in my glasses. Are you guys seeing the same glare? Hey, Helen's mom, welcome in. I'm glad that Helen had you turn us on. Welcome in. Happy to have you here. Yeah, Dina, it's quite a roller coaster. That's for sure. If you're sensitive to weather changes, it's pretty rough. Okay, Bob, thanks a little bit. I'm gonna try to figure out. Maybe that's a little bit better if I keep it tilted a little bit. We'll see here. But yeah, quite a roller coaster with the weather here. Little glare on your lenses. I would take my glasses off, but then I couldn't read anything. So that'd be pretty bad. Maybe I should get prescription sunglasses. Then I wouldn't have a glare. But we'll figure it out. So, all right. So tonight I've got 4 questions that were sent in, and I see Dina's on and Cece is on. I don't know that Chris is on yet, or Carmen. So I might give it a minute or two. But I've got those questions to go over and provide some feedback. I've got some updates on some things, and then I'm going to ask you guys a question that I'm kind of interested to hear. It's one of those what if kind of things. If you could do something, what would it be type of thing. So be ready for that. I think it'll be kind of fun. Answers that you guys give might, I'm going to use the word offend, but understand it might offend somebody else because you might be touching something that is important to them that they love at the parks, but it'll be fun. So, so let's hear, Dina, since I see you are on. Dina had asked, what hotel are people staying at for the Dreamstream event? And so let's talk about the event first off, in case you're not familiar with what that is. Last year in 2024, we had what we called a Dreamstream 2024 event. It was the first time we'd ever done something like that. And the motivation was pulling people together that kind of got to know one another on live streams from some of our favorite streamers. And there were probably 25 of us that ventured down for that event last September. And it was great to get to meet some people that you interact with in chat, like y'all are doing here. Get to meet them in person. Some of them came solo, some came with their significant others, some brought their whole family. And so it was fun opportunity to get to meet some of those people in person and get to know them a little bit better than just on social media chat. And so everybody agreed they wanted to do it again this year. And so this year we are hosting another one. It is in November this year. Be honest with you, we did it in September last year. And while Halloween is amazing, it was hot as blazes. And so any of you that are on that attended that with us, I know Helen's mom, you're on. Helen was with us, and it was pretty warm. So we're going to enjoy the Christmas scenery this year. The event is November 13th through the 15th. It's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Thursday is an evening kind of social gathering type of thing. Friday's a park day, Saturday's a park day. Try to design it towards the end of the week, into the weekend. So if you have to take time off of work, maybe it's not as much time, a day or two, and that sort of thing. And of course, if you want to go for a longer period of time, you're absolutely welcome to do that. I know in September, some of us that were there for the entire week. Others came in maybe on Wednesday and left on Monday and what have you. So the event is November 13th through the 15th. Still a little ways out, so I don't have a lot of the details put together, but I envision the Thursday evening gathering that maybe we'll get together at Disney Springs, and hopefully the Christmas trees are up and we can do a Christmas tree stroll together. I think that'd be kind of fun. Friday, based on the last several years, Fridays are Christmas party nights at the Magic Kingdom, the Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. And so anybody who would want to attend that, you'd be able to get tickets and go to that. And then, hey, Helen. Helen is here and smiling, but she's not tired of it. That's okay. That's all right. No problem at all. I will talk enough for both me and Helen. I'm sure of that. And probably 3 other people on here. So anyway, that Friday would be a Christmas party night if anybody wanted to attend that. And then Saturday, we typically do a park day. And then that gives folks time to depart on Sunday back to their homes or what have you. We designate a resort as kind of the host resort, just so that if people want to all stay at the same place and enjoy time together, they can do that outside of the park days. And so for this year, we designated All Star Movies as the resort. Does not mean you have to stay there. You're absolutely welcome to stay anywhere you'd like. Hey, Tammy, welcome in. I appreciate you coming from Janelle's. You're going to go in September for your first time ever. That is exciting. That's very exciting. If I can help you at all, please let me know. I'd be happy to do that. But so All Star Movies is the designated host site. Does not mean you have to stay there. You can stay wherever you'd like to. My, I guess, brainchild with this whole thing, again, was an opportunity for those of us who started to get to know each other socially through social media could absolutely go down, meet each other, and enjoy what we all love, and that's the Disney parks. But I wanted to make sure it was an event that could be as approachable and affordable as possible. That Thursday night, doing something outside of the parks is a great opportunity. If you live within a hour or 2 drive of Orlando and wanted to just come in for the evening and hang out, meet people, and then go back home, you could do that. If you only wanted to stay for a night and go to the park one day and then head home, you could do that as well. So that's why I selected All Stars. Last year we did Pop Century, but we'll probably try to keep it at the value resorts just to make it as affordable as possible for the people who want to all stay together at the same place. But I can tell you, I've got clients of mine that I book travel for that they're staying at other resorts that are not All Star Movies. I don't want to call out the resorts because it's kind of private to them, but it gives them the opportunity to stay wherever they want to, and then they can pop in and out as they choose to. So, Dina, hopefully that helps. But again, All Star Movies is where a few of the folks that have booked already are going to stay. I could speak from September's experience with Pop Century being our host resort. It was the same thing. We had some people that stayed at Pop. We had others that stayed elsewhere. Those of us that were at Pop, I know I had the Thursday of the evening get together. I had lunch with one of the followers and their spouse and their child. It was a great time to just spend some relaxed time with them to get to know them more one-on-one, and then had some time after the Thursday evening event to hang out with some folks. So enjoyed that quite a bit. Yeah, Renee, I certainly hope that those dates would work for you. Absolutely. Tammy, question, do you think it will rain all day in September since it's hurricane season? Okay, so Tammy, we had our Dream Stream in September last year down there. And at my advanced age, I have to try to remember, it rained some because I remember having to put my rain poncho on and pull a rain umbrella out, but it didn't rain the whole time. The Halloween party night that we were there, which would have been Friday night, it didn't rain at all for the party. There was minimal rain. Now, it's Florida. Even outside of an approaching tropical storm, you get to June, July, August, September, and October, and it's the rainy season. And so to have a pop-up storm throughout the day happen is certainly not uncommon. just plan for it. Go to your local Dollar Tree store and buy some of the cheap $1 disposable rain ponchos. And what I suggest is in your backpack or whatever kind of bag you're bringing into the park, bring a couple of rain ponchos, bring a gallon-sized Ziploc bag. That way, when you take the rain poncho off, stick it in your bag, zip it shut, and then everything inside your backpack or whatever cinch bag stays dry. Works perfectly. You can bring an umbrella. Like I said, we had a small one. As a matter of fact, it's right here. I mean, you can tell. I mean, I have a big head, and so that's pretty good, pretty small size, compact travel umbrella that we brought with us, and it was nice because sometimes if it's just a rain and there's no wind, the umbrella is nice to have. If there's any wind and the rain's blowing sideways, then the poncho is a little bit more suitable. But plan on rain. I'll tell you, I've been down there when a tropical storm was approaching. Disney World is probably the safest place you could be in the state of Florida with any kind of tropical weather. They have every protocol you could ever imagine and probably 1,000 more that you couldn't imagine to keep their guests safe. If and when they need to close the park because the conditions warrant it, they will do so. But in the 54 years almost that Walt Disney World has been open and the Magic Kingdom has been there, the park has closed, I think maybe, don't quote me, but a dozen times roughly. And some of those were not hurricane related. 9/11, the park closed. Obviously for COVID, the park closed. So when you think about that span of time to close maybe a dozen times for hurricanes, it doesn't happen very often. But they want to make sure everybody's safe for sure. So I would never hesitate to go down there. I think your biggest challenge if a tropical system were approaching would be if you were flying in, whether there's impact to your flights or not. Booking a Disney trip, if you're booking and staying on property, especially in that September, October range where it's the peak of the hurricane season, you might want to at least consider getting travel protection or travel insurance. That way, if you have to change your flights, if there's any penalties or what have you, you're not out the money. The insurance covers you on all of that. So hopefully that helps. Hey, Jules, welcome in. All right, so Dina, I think you said you were good. Let me look here. Yep, thanks. Okay, perfect. All right, Cece, are you still here with us? Oh, perfect, Tammy. That's good. That's very good. I'll tell you, and again, open and honest, I think a lot of you guys that know me, I'm a travel agent specializing in Disney. I've been to Disney dozens of times, and I'm going to show the side of me that is not a very good salesperson. I have never in my life once bought trip protection, trip insurance for a Disney World trip. I bought it when I've taken cruises because I feel like there's just more opportunity for something to go awry on a cruise. But I've had clients that have booked with me and bought the travel protection. And in one case, one of the spouses got sick, and it was dehydration sick, but so bad that they had to go to the hospital, and they were there for a couple of days in the hospital while they got them rehydrated and what have you. That trip protection covers all of those expenditures. So I think it's around, let's just say it's $100 per adult for the trip protection. I think it's $95 or something like that. It's well worth the investment when you think about the things that it can cover for you. Not only if your trip gets canceled because of hurricanes or what have you, you have to change flights because of delays, whatever the case may be. But like I said, in that case of that client, hospital for a couple of days, we all know how expensive it can be to be in hospital, I'm sure. And so the $200, let's say, that they paid for husband and wife and kids don't get charged for the trip protection. It's a pretty good investment, to be honest with you. All right, so Cece is here, and I'm going to ask her a question. I'm going to pause. I want to see if anybody that's in the chat, if any of you have any answers to give her before I give my answers. Because I'll be honest with you, my answers may or may not work because I can't say that I've experienced what her question is. And she asked, is there any way to make mini ears more comfortable? I have a couple of answers, but again, I'm going to pause. I'm going to let any of you that have come up with solutions to make the bands for the mini ears a little more comfortable. I hear all the time people talk about how hard it presses on and they get headaches and what have you. I'm just not a mini ear wearing kind of guy. So I can't give you any answers from personal experience, but I do have a couple of answers that I think could help. So, anybody that's on, if you've experienced that, is there any remedy that you found that worked for you when it came to wearing mini ears? And if not, I'll give my answers, but I will pause for a little bit. Buy a visor, Bob says. That's not a bad choice. Oh, Janie, darn it. Yeah, now I'm a little embarrassed. So, year and a half ago, I was there in December with a couple friends who came down, and I got to meet them for the first time. And we spent a little bit of time with Janelle down there. And one of the gals put her mini ears. I think they were Ariel actually, but ears on me, and I wore them around the park for the day. And I'm sure there's pictures of me wearing those darn things somewhere around. So yes, you got me, Janie. But it doesn't mean I'm still not a mini ears wearing kind of guy. Get stretchable ears, Joel says. Bob, visor with ears, saw them worn in the parks. Yeah, I've seen that too. Here are my two possible remedies. Again, I've never experienced it. Since Janie called me out that day that I wore those ears, I don't even remember them bothering me. I want to say probably within about 30 minutes, I forgot they're in my head. Now, some people would probably tell you that that's because I'm probably numb from the neck up, and there's nothing up here to hurt. So, but here are the two things that I've seen people recommend, Cece, that you can try. First off, if you have the ears already, about a week before you go, I wish I had something here with me, find an object that is about the same size as your head, a box or something like that, and place the ears on them and leave them there so that that band is kind of being stretched out to about the same size as your head for that week's time before you go on the trip. That'll help so that it's not quite as vice grip, if you will, on your head. Now, that doesn't work if you're buying brand new ears while you're down there. You won't have the ability to do that. So the second option that I've seen is, and again, man, I got to get better about having my props ready. There's something called moleskin, MOLE skin, which I swear by for blisters on your feet or where your feet rub in your shoes. Moleskin is a lifesaver. Hey, Unicourse. But buy some moleskin and you can cut it into strips. It's almost like a felt pad, if you will, with a sticky side. Cut it to the width of the band, peel that strip off and slip those in there. If you cut it just right, once you put the band on, nobody's going to notice the moleskin. I can probably guarantee you that would alleviate the pain that the bands cause on your head, because that moleskin is a lifesaver for me with blisters for sure. Of course, the question was asked, is there any way to make mini ears more comfortable? So I'll give you a moment to see if you have any remedies or thoughts. Dean, I know I can't wear the ears from the park either, as those are too heavy. I ordered ears off Amazon, which I know aren't Disney park merchandise and aren't official Disney ears, but they don't hurt. That's another option too. Absolutely. And you're right there. You're ordering them off Amazon. That's a whole other topic we could talk about. But yeah, so here's my challenge with that, Dina. It just shows my age. I'm a walk in a store, see it, feel it, touch it kind of guy before I buy something. So not that we don't buy things online because the world's turned that way, but any chance I can walk into a store and see it and touch it and feel it and try it on or whatever, I'm 1,000,000% that way before I buy something online. But yeah, if you can find a product that you know works, that helps the ears like that on Amazon, it doesn't hurt to try. But Cece, if there are ears that you already own and you're trying to just make them more comfortable, I would try the moleskin idea. I think you can probably also get maybe fabric that you can slide onto the strips to make it feel a little bit more comfortable. Slip a napkin in there once they start hurting to alleviate the pain. It looks silly though. I take mine off after they start hurting. Yeah, I guess the only thing I would say with the napkin that my thought would be on that, of course, first off, for me, depending on what time of the year it is, once I get off the bus, I'm already sweating. So I have a wilting napkin on my head. And the other thing would be if it does rain, you got to remember you have a napkin on your head. But hopefully, Cece, at least a couple of those ideas that have been floated in chatter that we've talked about might benefit you or help a little bit. Anybody else have any other thoughts? Jules, you're the same way. I assume you're talking about feeling, touching purchases before you buy things. I don't know. I mean, some people swear by and do it, and God love them. I like, especially tennis shoes, for instance. I got to try them on, make sure they feel good on my feet before I buy them. Because even if let's say, I'm not going to name any brands, but let's say I live by a certain brand of shoe. Even that particular shoe, sometimes they cut a little bit differently. The instep's different. The width is different, what have you. So I always like to be able to try them on. Yeah, obviously the napkin would be the least expensive option to try. But since there are ears you already have, Cece, you could always, like I said, try to stretch them out. VBs, how are you? Do I know about any discounts coming up for the summer or fall? So here's what I know, and it's like very minuscule. Disney is announcing something tomorrow, and I'm hoping that they share with the travel agent community before they share publicly so that we at least have some idea of what it is. But Disney has hinted through the travel agent portals, if you will, that exciting news is coming tomorrow. I don't know what that is, but reach out to me tomorrow and I can let you know. I'll probably, once I find out and get some of the details, I'll put a post out on the YouTube channel here. I'll also post it on our Discord. And I'll probably post it on all my other social media sites as well. Helen says Loungefly. I'm not sure what she means by Loungefly. Unicorn says, or do your hair where it kind of protects where they're hurting? A braid, maybe? Yeah, so clearly, y'all can tell I can't lend any value to that. Hey, Scal, how are you? Lurking from work. Thanks for joining. Great to see you too. Yeah, Tammy, I know. So the discounts right now, and I don't have the dates in front of me, but they run through early summertime, I think. Maybe as far as August, but I want to say the end of July right now. So yeah, anything second half of the year they've not announced yet, which is not uncommon. But I would imagine we're gonna hear something. Yeah, Tammy, thanks. I'm glad you're with us. But again, as soon as I get details on whatever's coming out tomorrow, I will let y'all know. I have a sense, just going off of previous years, it's about time that they announce a promotion that ties to either being a Disney Plus subscriber or having the Disney Visa Chase credit card, that sort of thing. So keep that in mind. That might be what it ties to. Now, what the offer is, I don't know. Unicorn, glad I have a great travel agent to watch discounts for me. Okay, so since Unicorn said that, whoever this great travel agent of hers is, that is something that a great travel agent should do for you. And we'll just give you, for instance, let's say let's just knock on VB's door here. Let's say VB comes to me and says, Mike, book me a trip for November during the Dreamstream event. There are no promotions right now. So I would book it and, quote, and they'd say, yep, let's book it. So we'd put the $200 deposit down for a package stay. If 2 months from now or 3 months from now or any time between now and before that trip, a promotion comes out that the trip I booked for VB's qualifies for, I'm already applying that promotion. And I get the luxury of sending a note to VB to say, hey, great news, a promotion came out and I just applied it to your trip and I've saved you X dollars. I can tell you last year for the Dreamstream in September, I remember one client in particular that I booked for them. They were Florida residents. And so when I booked for them, there was already a Florida ticket promotion going on. So I got them that. And then I just booked the room separately. A room promotion came out and I was able to save them even more money. So it was a great deal for them. But that's one of the advantages of utilizing a travel agent is that um, we watch for promotions. Dean, I'm going to finish my thought before I read your comment. We watch for promotions on your behalf so that you don't have to worry about it. And we can apply those promotions if you qualify and save you the money. That's one of the advantages. Look, some people have a thought in their head that if I use a travel agent, they'll be able to get me the trip cheaper. Cards on the table, as transparent as I am, can be. You could be sitting right next to me with your computer, and I can be on my computer, and we could put in the exact same things for a trip, and we're going to get the exact same price. So, no, if apples to apples, I can't book a trip and save you money that you couldn't book on your own. Okay, being transparent. The thing is, though, you're paying for a travel agent whether you use one or not, because you don't pay me, Disney pays me. Well, since we just price compared together and we got the same price, that means that the commission that Disney pays a travel agent is baked into the cost that you get when you go out and price a package for Disney. So in essence, you're paying for the services of a travel agent when you book directly with Disney. Disney is just pocketing that commission money, and you're not getting the advantages of utilizing a travel agent. So another reason why I would always encourage you to use a travel agent, of course, I would certainly encourage you to use me before somebody else, but you're paying for the services, you might as well take advantage of it, and you're helping out a small business owner to boot. It doesn't cost you a dime more, and we're doing things behind the scenes for you, like watching for promotions. When it comes time to book your dining, if you want to have dining reservations made, you want us to do that for you. Instead of you getting up at super duper early in the morning, depending upon what time zone you're in, 60 days out, I'm getting up early to book your dining for you. And then when you wake up that morning, you have an email already from me that says, hey, great news. You have 7 a.m. dining at Ohana, and you have 2 o'clock late lunch at wherever, and it's all taken care of. Okay, let me catch up on comments here. Hey, Darla, welcome in. How are you? Let's see here. Dina, I did hear that rumor too, Mike, that it was for Disney's Visa holders. Yeah, that was kind of the rumor I'd heard, Dina. But gosh, I hate saying things because so many rumors fly out there, and then they get debunked. And so I'd rather be right and second or third in line than to be first in line and mislead you, if that makes sense. VBs, Mike, don't tempt my wife any more than she already is by using us as the example. We went in January and have a July trip booked, itching for Halloween, Christmas trip. So VBs, if you're staying on property, I hope since you went January and you're going in July that you booked with the bounce back offer. And if you didn't, when you're there for July, and as soon as you check out for July and you want to go for Halloween or Christmas, our Dreamstream event, you could come and meet up with us. We want to make sure that you take advantage of the bounce back offer. Bounce back offer is what we affectionately call it. It's basically a return stay promotion. Disney is saying, hey, you're here with us now. Anytime while you're with us on your trip, up to 7 days after you check out, you can book a future stay trip with us at a promotional rate. You get up to 25% off value resorts, up to 30% off moderate resorts, and up to 35% off the deluxe resorts. Best discounts you can get, plain and simple, just for booking a return trip. Anytime up to 7 days after you check out. So if you check out on Monday, as long as your trip is booked by the following Monday, you're good to go. Now, like all promotions that Disney has, it's limited quantity available. I had a client just a few weeks ago that they were at Disney still, and they said, hey, Mike, we want to book a bounce back. Here's my dates. I want to stay at this resort. I reached out to Disney. They didn't have availability for that resort for the stay that they wanted, and so we could tinker it around a little bit. Well, I said, let me get some quotes on a couple other resorts and see what I can do. Well, I called Disney back and I kind of nudged them a little bit, and they freed up space for the resort that my client originally wanted. I was able to get the bounce back for them for that resort for the block of time that they wanted. So, and again, you don't have to spend the time getting that booked. Have the travel agent do that for you. Saves you a lot of time. Okay, good. You're familiar with bounce backs. Good, 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 good. Are there any blackout dates for bounce backs, such as Dreamstream dates in November? Dina, I can tell you Dreamstream dates in November are not blocked out. Typically, week of Christmas, week of New Year's, they do not have bounce back or return stay promotion dates. Probably Thanksgiving week is blocked out. I'd imagine the 4th of July week is blocked out. They don't publicize that information. So I'm kind of just using common sense here, but they do have periods where they don't support the bounce back or return stay. But Dreamstream is wide open. I've got a client or two that are already booked during that period for bounce back. Yeah, it is a great discount. That's pretty cool. You were a moderate family, but you were basically able to upgrade to the contemporary with the bounce back in January and Poly in July. Now, VBs, it's a blessing and a curse, right? It's great because, like you said, you would never be able to stay at those resorts otherwise. But Disney gets you because as soon as you stay at the deluxe resorts, you can't go back. You won't be able to go back to value or moderate, maybe moderate. But I hear so many people say that because of the bounce back, I was able to upgrade to the Poly or Contemporary or Riviera or whatever. And it was just a little bit more, but with the bounce back, it made it affordable. And then they're like, I can't go back to staying at Pop Century. I got to stay at the deluxe resorts. And so, like I said, it's a blessing and a curse, but a great deal nonetheless to go with the bounce back. All right, let's move on with our questions. I don't see Chris on. Stereo CW, if you're here, say something in the chat. But we're going to dive into his question anyway. Oh, look at that. He is present. Or does that mean that you brought us all presents? I like that idea better. Anyway, Chris asked, when will the Easter eggs show up at the Grand Floridian? Well, they just so happened to show up yesterday, as a matter of fact. Yesterday, March 18th, was the opening day of the Easter egg displays at the Grand Floridian Resort. They will be up through Easter Day. Easter is on April 20th. So if you're going to be there between now and April 20th, if you have the time, swing on over to the Grand Floridian Resort. These are hand-painted chocolate eggs, big eggs that are amazing, amazing designs. They're done by cast members, the pastry chefs at Disney. Each of them features a unique theme. They'll add new ones each year. They typically don't destroy them. They save them and bring them out following year. My gut tells me there's some type of shelf life, if you will, that maybe after 3 or 4 years, they don't continue to bring those old ones out because they've added new ones. But they do remove them and store them and recycle them, if you will. If you're familiar with the gingerbread house at the Grand Floridian in Christmas time, when that gets torn down, that gingerbread is taken out to bee farms, BEE farms, and they utilize that for the bees to be able to feed off of that. They don't have the same feature with the big chocolate eggs. They just get destroyed and thrown out when they're done with them. So they're there at the Grand Flow from yesterday, March 18th through April 20th. If you're down there, they will also have Easter egg displays at the Yacht Club, at the Beach Club, and at the Contemporary. However, those will not show up until April 1st, and they will run through April 20th. So hopefully that helps, Chris, and answers what you were looking for. If any of you were on yesterday, Janelle was streaming live for a little bit of her time of the day over at the Grand Floridian showing the Easter eggs. So you can always go back and look at one of her videos to see that. But man, to see the creativity of the cast members at Disney, it's pretty spectacular. Chris, are we good there? Any follow-ups on the eggs at Grand Flow? Okay, perfect. All right. Carmen, I don't know if Carmen, as she is in Discord, Carmen with an A, sent in a question earlier today, as a matter of fact. Her question was, is there a Disney website that lists events like, hey, Carmen, there you are. Awesome. So Carmen asked, is there a Disney website that lists events, event dates like after hours, Epcot events, concerts, parties, etc.? So as you can probably imagine, you could Google and probably get countless results. But I'm going to provide you one that, hey, Jessica, one that I think is probably the most inclusive and the easiest to find of information. So simply, if you go out to www.waltdisneyworld.com, can't be any easier than that. And then in the little search box, type in events calendar. The result will be a scrolling page that has a day calendar. So you can click that and it'll show you the schedules, the park hours of each of the 4 parks, when the parades are, when stage shows are, any of that sort of thing. The nighttime shows at the parks that have those, it'll have that. The next one is a 5-day calendar, so you can compare. I like the 5-day calendar if I'm planning a trip. I want to see what the park hours are for the 5 days that I'm going to be there, so that if Magic Kingdom happens to be open until 11 p.m. on one night instead of 10 p.m., I might plan that day to be my Magic Kingdom day. All of the after-hour events are also on that page. As you scroll down, you'll be able to find the after hours at Epcot, Hollywood Studios, Magic Kingdom when they're happening, so you can get that information. There's also a link to any merchandise events that are going on at the parks. Another one that I love, because people don't think about it, but and I'll say it, you might be like, why do you care about that? And that's the ESPN Wide World of Sports Events page. Well, you care about that because that's where all of the dance and cheer competitions take place over there. And there's big weekends with a lot of crowds. So you might want to look to see when those are. They have soccer events, they have baseball tournaments, things like that over there. So good information to see that. On that events calendar search page, again, there's information on Run Disney, the marathon weekends that Disney hosts. So you can get that information. There is also information about Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, all of the festivals at Epcot, from arts to Flower and Garden to Food and Wine to the Festival of the Holidays. There's a page for all of the what's called extras. So like Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique is an extra. Doing the lightsabers or the droids, those are extras. All of those things are out there. And then all of the various tours, whether it's VIP or the elephant tour at Animal Kingdom, all of those, they're all out on that page. So Carmen, again, www.waltdisneyworld.com. And then in the search box, type in events, EVENTS calendar, and that page will return and give you probably 10 times more than you were even asking for. Hopefully that helps, Carmen. Go out there, take a look. If there's something not there that you were trying to find or wanting, you know how to get in touch with me. You can ping me on Discord or message me directly, and I'll help you out with that. Good on that, Carmen. Jessica, thank you. I appreciate the fact that you are willing to lie and say that I'm beautiful too. I like that. Thank you. Okay. I'm going to go through a few different things that are coming up or happening around the parks, and then I want to wrap up with a question for all of you. And I'm kind of excited to ask the question because it will spark some fun answers. At least it'll be fun for me. Okay. So I think just today, for the first time, Test Track, which has been closed for almost about a year now, they are doing a full refurb. It's Test Track 3.0. It's the third version, but they're kind of giving it a nod to the original version of Test Track. They started testing the actual ride cars on the track during park day hours for the first time yesterday. The ride is scheduled to open up in late summer of 2025. Now, the fact that they're testing ride cars right now, some people speculate that maybe that late summer will move up sooner. I I'm not willing to go that far yet because I don't want you coming back after me if that doesn't happen. Because what we don't know is where they're at with the ride queue, the lines that you go through. They're supposed to be redoing all of that with some new exhibit type things as you walk through the line. I'm sure there'll be some interactive features. If you think back, previously you were able to basically modify or build your own car. So I don't know where that work is done, where that ad is in the schedule of being completed, but at least the fact that they're testing the cars outside on the track is pretty exciting. Usually that means they're getting close to finish on projects. So fingers crossed that means they'll be done sooner rather than later. Hey, Gary, welcome in. I'm not gonna get between you and Darla. It's not safe. I think we talked about this maybe last week. A ride closure that has happened that was really like under the radar, and I think it's because it's a ride that is typically under the radar, and that is the Grand Fiesta Tour, the Three Caballeros, which is inside the Mexican Pavilion at Epcot. There's still, amazingly to me, people that don't know that ride exists. And I think because they either don't go in the building at all, or once they walk in, if you've ever been in there, when you walk in, it's pretty dark. And if you don't venture all the way to the back, I think a lot of people walk in and see, and it looks like it's kind of a Mexican indoor craft fair, if you will. They turn around and walk out. Well, anyway, nonetheless, that ride was closed for a couple months for some refurbishment and what have you. It has now reopened, so it's now operating daily, and I can't wait to ride it when I'm there next. Yeah, that's a bummer, Gary. I love that ride. So I'm excited to ride it my next trip, and I'll talk about my next trip here in a little bit, maybe. Also, just opening yesterday, and again, if you were on Janelle's Live, you saw it. The new DVC lounge at the Magic Kingdom opened, McKim's Mile House. Looked really nice on the inside. That'll be the closest I ever get to it because I'm not a DVC member, and I don't envision that I will become one. My bank account doesn't agree with that idea. But nonetheless, if you're a DVC member, that lounge just opened and it is available to you. While we're on the topic of lounges, if you weren't aware, over at Epcot, they're going to be opening up a lounge that is near the Spaceship Earth, the big golf ball ride, as my kids affectionately call it. It is opening this spring, and they just revealed the name of it. It will be GEO-82. Now, maybe I missed these details before when they were initially sharing that they were going to create a lounge there. But I did notice that when the lounge opens, it is for ages 21 and up. So if you bring your family, you either have to leave the kids outside while you go in, or you're going to miss out on the lounge. But it is for 21 and older there at Epcot. Janie, I assume you're talking about Grand Fiesta Tour being a boring ride, but it's nice. I'm excited to see. I mean, they closed it for a couple, 2, 3, 4 months. So I think they redid some of the scenes. I would imagine some of the projection screens might be a little bit newer and fancier. So I'm excited to see what it looks like. This is part of the whole project at Animal Kingdom. As I think you know, most of Dinoland is closed now. Triceratops Spin is closed. The carnival games are closed. The big giant dinosaur is gone. The ride dinosaur is open through the end of this year. Restaurantosaurus is open through the end of this year. But the other thing that's happening is they just closed the Tough to Be a Bug 3D show inside the Tree of Life. It is being replaced by Zootopia Better Zoogether, and that is going to open up the winter of 2025. But if you're a Tough to Be a Bug fan, that show attraction is closed down for good. Jessica saying what? Which part of what are you talking about or asking about or saying that? The whole Dinoland redo? The Dinoland stuff that's closed, that whole area is going to be rethemed to Tropical Americas is what it's going to be called. Essentially, it's going to be primarily an Encanto area. There will be a first of its kind Encanto ride that does not exist at any Disney park around the world. There will also be an Encanto themed carousel ride that will be there as well. There'll be a quick serve restaurant, Hacienda, which will be one of the largest quick serve dining locations in all of Walt Disney World. The dinosaur ride, I said it's going to stay open until the end of this year. Once it closes, it will be rethemed to Indiana Jones, but it will not be the same Indiana Jones ride that's out in Disneyland in California. It will have its own feel and look and be unique. So that's what needs a big restaurant. Yes, Darla. Now I will say, while I agree with you there, I think one of my favorite restaurants in all of Walt Disney World is Tusker House, back by the Safari ride. We love that character breakfast. You want Alien Encounters to come back, Bob? You can hold your breath, but you're going to turn blue because I don't think that's going to happen. Yes, by Safari. Love Tusker House. That is a family favorite for sure. So all of that Dino Land stuff that I talked about, the Central Americas and the Encanto ride and the carousel and then the Indiana Jones stuff, that is all slated for a 2027 opening. And Jessica, if you're in the dark on that, then I don't know if you're familiar with the new developments that are happening at Hollywood Studios or at Magic Kingdom. They weren't on my list, but I'll mention them real quick, and we'll go from there. So at Hollywood Studios, this kind of breaks my heart a little bit, so I'll try to get through this without breaking down. But the Muppets 3D Vision show, which has been there since the park opened, will be closing down in June for good. That whole courtyard area is going to be closed down. Some of the restaurants are closing in May, the others in June. But that whole area is going to be completely demolished, if you will, and a Monsters Inc. land. I don't know if it's going to be called Monstropolis Land or not, but right now it's Monsters Inc. land is going to be built there. Last week, they showed video art of the loading system for the first ride that is going in there. If you're a Monsters Inc. movie lover, you think about the big vault with all the closet doors that come on the racks and they come down and load. Okay. Well, you're going to get onto the ride apparatus and get buckled in. It's going to lift you up 15, 20 feet, kind of like the door does in the docking station in the movie. It goes up and then it takes off. So you're going to get in, it's going to lift you up. The track is above your head. It will take you off and you'll go through kind of like the vault with all of the doors. I think it's going to be an amazing ride. I cannot wait for that. So yeah, Monsters Inc. land is going in at Hollywood Studios. Jessica, I know you're going to love one of these other two items that I have. Magic Kingdom's got two big expansions happening. The first one is going to be Cars Land. If you're a Magic Kingdom person now and know the layout of the park, the Liberty Bell big paddle boat ship that goes around the island, which is Tom Sawyer's Island, all of that will be gone. Those rides are going to be ride and the island's going to be removed. The water's going to get pulled out. They're going to fill it in with dirt, and they're going to have Cars Land there with a couple of rides. And then, Jessica, the one that I know you're going to love, they're going to have Villains Land coming to Magic Kingdom, back kind of behind Big Thunder Mountain. That ride, probably almost, I envision like when you walk to get to the Haunted Mansion ride, I almost imagine that they're going to have, since that's going to get filled in where the water is, a walkway that goes back there that would takes you to Villains Land. Let's see. Let me catch up on a couple comments here. When's the Villains show start at Hollywood Studios? Okay, so what Bob's talking about is today at Hollywood Studios, where Rock and Roller Coaster Ride is. If you're walking towards it, you see the big guitar to the right. This is my right. I think it's like a mirror here. So when I point to my right, I might be pointing left for you. But if you look to your right, they used to have a show inside of a building, and it was Lightning McQueen Racing Academy. that is being replaced, and it's being replaced by a villain themed show. And Bob, I have to look real quick because I don't have my notes with me. When does the summer of 2025, the new villain show will open at Hollywood Studios. And the name of the show is, hopefully I can find it. Doesn't have it on this page here. Somebody has the name of it, you can put it in there. But yeah, a new villain show is coming this summer to Hollywood Studios. Also this summer at Magic Kingdom, a new nighttime parade is coming. Fingers crossed that summer means Memorial Day weekend, selfishly for me. But anyway, let me get back to my couple of things here real quick. I mentioned Tough to Be Bug being closed down now. Cali River Rapids, the water ride at Animal Kingdom, it opened back up. They usually close that in January, February for refurbishment and maintenance. That has been opened back up. And I think I mentioned the Zootopia show inside the Tree of Life will open this winter, 2025. Let's see here. Ruby's favorite ride is Cali. The older I get, the less I like the water rides. I used to love them. Excited about the new nighttime parade. I am too, Dina. Jessica, I know I missed the electrical parade as well, but the new nighttime parade looks like it's going to be just spectacular. Pretty cool. Okay. Early on, I said I don't like to talk about rumors because I want to make sure they're validated. Some of you know this. I think, Darla, you're on. This came up in a chat that her and I are in. Somebody posted on TikTok, and supposedly they were a cast member, that they were told effective Monday, I think it was Monday, that they were going to change rope drop at the parks. And that instead of, like at Magic Kingdom right now, rope drop, you can go to a certain point and then you're stopped there. And then when they drop the rope, there you go. So the rumor was that, thank you, Chris, Unfairly Ever After. Thank you. The rumor was that instead of queuing up at a spot, waiting for the time for the rope to drop, and then you could go in, that you were going to actually be able to go in, walk around the area, stand in line for the ride, and then when the park opened, you'd be in line to ride the ride. Well, I know it seemed there was like virtually no commentary whatsoever during the day Monday about it. I couldn't find anything. When I searched, nothing. Well, today, finally, I saw commentary that looks like it went into effect yesterday, specifically at Magic Kingdom and specifically for resort guests, okay? So if you're not familiar with rope drop in general, the idea is that you get to the park before park opening. They let you inside of the park up to a certain point. There are cast members there that are basically holding a rope. And when the park opens at 9 a.m., for instance, they remove the rope and rope drop, and you go on in and get in line for whatever ride. If you're a resort guest staying on property, you get 30-minute entry into the park earlier than non-resort guests. So in my Magic Kingdom example, the gates open about an hour before the park opens. So you can go into Magic Kingdom, whether you're staying in a resort on property or staying at Aunt Sally's house, between Tampa and Orlando, doesn't matter. You can get in, you can go down Main Street, you can go up to the castle, get your photos, all of that jazz. But if you're a resort guest, towards the right, again, I'm pointing to my right, towards Tomorrowland and towards Fantasyland, there are walkways. There are cast members standing right there with iPads. They scan your Magic Band or scan your phone or your Apple Watch, or if you got the old plastic cards that you get to validate that you're a resort guest. And then you can walk down those walkways almost all the way into either Tomorrowland or Fantasyland. And then at 8:30, 30 minutes before the park opens, they drop the ropes and the resort guests go on into Tomorrowland and or Fantasyland and get in line and ride the rides before the non-resort guests get to go into those areas at 9 a.m. From what I understand, from what I researched, starting yesterday, Instead of queuing up all of the resort guests on those walkway paths for 30 minutes, 45 minutes until 8:30, once you got badged by the cast member to be allowed in, and it sounds like it was just Tomorrowland only yesterday, you could go on in, and this was as early as 7:45 in the morning. You go stand in line for Buzz Lightyear or Tomorrowland Speedway. I'm laughing at that on the inside, but you could then stand in line, and then at 8:30, you're on the ride and you're going. So I love that idea. Simply, especially if you are claustrophobic at all, it doesn't bother me. But man, you are packed in like sardines on those walkways for 30 minutes or so before rope drop. So allowing the guest into the land, you can spread out, you can get in line at different places, or just walk around and enjoy things. So I think that's a beneficial change that they're making with rope drop. What is not known is if this is a permanent change or if it's just something they're testing out. And maybe that's why it's only in Tomorrowland right now. But would love for that to happen for all of the parks. While I'm on the subject of rope drop, to share my experiences specific to Epcot. And most specifically, if you're staying at a Skyliner resort, Pop Century, Art of Animation, Caribbean Beach Resort, the Riviera, you're taking the Skyliner over to Epcot and you're entering from the back side of the park right into the World Showcase between the UK and France. Park opens at 9, resort guests get in at 8:30. Every year we've been there in the last 4 or 5, take the Skyliner over early. We are walking into the park 7:45. We're going through security, badging in, walking over the bridge, and getting in line for Remy at 8 o'clock. Most of the time we've been there, we are on the ride, off the ride, and it's maybe 8:35. So they've typically let people in and they start that ride before 8:30. And it's allowed us to get off of that ride and speed walk all the way over to Frozen, get on it and get off of it before 9 o'clock, before the non-resort guests get into Epcot. It's a massive time saver if you're a Skyliner resort guest. And I should also mention, if you're staying at Beach Club, Yacht Club, or Boardwalk, those are walking distance to the International Gateway, the entrance into the back of the park. Now, I'll have to fill you all in after my next trip. We're not staying on Skyliner resort line this trip. We're staying at All Stars. So we'll be taking a bus to Epcot on our Epcot day, and you're getting off at the front of the park. You're walking in by the giant golf ball. I'm still racking my brain whether I want to go to Remy or go to Frozen when we get there for that 8:30 start. Let me catch up on chat here. Oh, Ruby, hey, how are you? Good to see you. So anyway, that's that. I'm some of you know this, so bear with me as I share it again. But we are going back to Disney at the end of May, and we are going. It's a 4-generation trip. My parents are going to go, which in 2020 when they went with us, they said they were never going again. So I'm ecstatic that my mom and dad are going with us. My wife and I and our youngest son Tanner are going to go, and then my middle son Tyler and his wife and their what will be 20-month-old baby boy Briggs is going. And so it'll be Briggs's first time ever going. And so I, as a parent, flash back to when our youngest son, who's now a freshman in college, when he was about 20 months or 2 years old, and we took him for the first time. And to experience Disney through the eyes of a 2-year-old, he doesn't remember any of that. But man, I will go to my grave remembering all of the times with him as a 2-year-old, hands out to hug Mickey Mouse, or having, Snow White lip prints here and another princess lip prints here and one here. This is all before COVID, of course. So it'll be, Briggs, my son Tyler, me, and my dad, 4 generations of Apgars. I'm totally excited about that. Cannot wait. Let's see here, when and where. So Bob, we will be down there May 29th through June 3rd. So I'm excited for that. Can't wait. So that's that. And then VB, since you just commented, I will be using the bounce back offer from that trip for the November trip. So I can't wait for that. Yeah, I'm totally excited, BBs. I'm so excited. Yes, Dina, you better believe it. I talk about this all the time. People ask me, what's the best age to take children? And my answer is simply this. If they're 2 years old, should I take them when they're 2? Should I wait till they're older? My answer is simply this. Hold that thought, Darla. If you think you can afford to go more than once, take them when they're 2 years old. Absolutely. Like I said, Tanner doesn't remember when he was that age. He doesn't remember princesses kissing him. I'll never forget it. That trip was probably my favorite trip I've ever had. And I spent 80% of the time in line for characters. It was an amazing trip. But I knew we could go again when he was older and he can remember. So if you can afford to go multiple times, take them when they're 2. There's 2 advantages. First one is all the memories, like I said, you'll have seeing Park through a 2-year-old. Under the age of 3 is free. So like with Briggs going with us, no park ticket cost for him. Unless we want him to have his own plate of food, we don't have to pay for food. He'll just eat off of our plates. It's great. But if you can't afford or don't think you can afford to go multiple times, then I would wait until they're older so that they have memories of going. All right, Darla, when is Dreamstream? November 13th through the 15th. It's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. My goal is Thursday night we get together at Disney Springs and see the Christmas trees, do the Christmas tree stroll, assuming it's up by then. Friday, at a minimum, I think a lot of us are going to go to the Christmas party Friday night at Magic Kingdom. And then Saturday be a park day at one of the parks. My guts, I don't know. I'm not sure which park, but we'll figure that out. So 13th through the 15th of November, you're certainly welcome to go for a longer period of time. Just like last year, I know some of us, we were there for the entire week and had a great time. Others came in Thursday and left Sunday. It's as flexible as you need and want it to be. Okay. Let me see. What else did I miss? Or did I miss anything else? Take them when no matter what. Yep, that's right, Jessica. You're exactly right. Yep, Janie, you're right. I mean, like I said, I'll go to my grave with that. VBs, we have 4 and 2-year-old. They have taken them at least once a year since they were born, and each trip is so fun and so different because they're different. Yeah, absolutely. And Tammy, I'm taking my 34-year-old son for our first time. That is amazing. He couldn't go as a young boy because of his autism, but he is so much better. That's awesome, Tammy. I love that. I love that. Yes, Janie. You gotta have a ticket to the party. Oh, that would be amazing, Jessica. What an amazing birthday that would be. Maybe we can make that happen. That'd be a lot of fun. Let's see here. Okay, I want to have fun now with you guys. So we're going to go one park at a time, but I have a question to ask you, and I want each one of you to provide an answer in chat, and then we'll debate. It's going to be fun. I thought about this earlier today. So we're going to start with Magic Kingdom, okay? The question is this. It's going to be the same question for all 4 parks, but let's stay on Magic Kingdom until I say, all right, let's go to Park X next. The question is this. I want you to name one ride or attraction or show, doesn't have to be a ride, one ride, attraction, or show at Magic Kingdom that you would be willing to have closed down so they could put in a new ride, attraction, show. And I'm not asking you what that new thing would be, but just what is a ride, show, or attraction at Magic Kingdom only that you would be willing to say, close down and put something new in. Darla cuts deep. Oh, and Le Mans goes deep too. Country Bears. I knew Unicorns would say that. Speedway. Country Bear says VBs. Dina agrees with Darla. Oh, you guys are, if you listen closely, Dina and Darla, You can hear Walt rolling over in his grave right now. Speedway says Skell. So we've got 2 COPs. We've got 1 Small World. We got multiple Country Bears. Jessica can't decide. Exactly, Janie. Okay. So I had 2 different things written down for my answer. One of them was Tomorrowland Speedway. Okay, Jules, the question was this. Name one ride, show, or attraction at Magic Kingdom that you would be willing to get rid of so that Disney could put something new in. And I'm not asking what the new thing would be. Just what is a ride, show, or attraction you would be willing to get rid of to get a new replacement? Maybe even with the refurb, it still needs to go. Yeah, man. So Dina, gosh, I mean, Carousel of Progress is 1965 World's Fair. Yikes. Jewel says Speedway. Okay, I had 2 answers. One was Tomorrowland Speedway. Honestly, before they announced the Cars Land over in Frontierland, I had said probably a year or 2 ago they could get rid of the Speedway and put in a Cars ride there. But nonetheless, the other one that I had on my list, and I'd be shocked. I'd be interested to see what the stats are as to how many, and you guys can tell me whether you go to it or not. Get rid of the Swiss Family Treehouse. Put something new in there. Oh, Jules, there's no way Haunted Mansion is going away. Okay, show of hands. Any of you do the Swiss Family Treehouse when you're there? I'm not so sure I've been through that since I was an adult.